Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode here on Eat, Sleep, Brief. This week's episode we're going to be covering something I actually haven't done in the past 2 years of having a reef tank. It's actually a question that was asked recently. I made a post on my Instagram in regards to making a compact water storage for your RODI system. Pretty much being able to store it right here. This pretty, not very wide shelf, and here, believe it or not, I'm able to store about 13 gallons. So there was a lot of interest, a lot of people wanting to see, so I figured, you know what, let's just make a video. In this video, I'm not going to be showing you guys how to hook up an RODI system. The one I do run, for you guys wondering, is a bulk reef supply, 75 gallon per day. It is a 4-stage. They have, less, they have more. But generally speaking, a 4-stage is something you're going to be wanting to be looking for your reef tank. There's a lot of RODI systems out there. Bulk reef supply is one I trust. It's when I was doing research, a lot of people trusted it. They use very common filters and the DI, everything's very easy to change out. And again, commercially available, and more importantly, it gets the job done. So the one I have here did come with the inline TDS, so I can measure the TDS water coming in, which would be from this side, and then the one going out, which would be from here. So I'm not going to show you guys how to hook it up, but generally speaking, the way you hook these up, you want to make sure, if you are going to mount it, you get it mounted. I don't know if you guys can see, it's mounted, one screw there and one screw right there. If you are going to mount it, go ahead and get that mounted. Once you do have it mounted, you're going to have your input line, you're going to have your output, your wastewater, and then you're going to have the output for the clean water. So to start off, a lot of you guys are going to wonder, and a lot of people were questioning, like, wow, we never knew you can hook this up right to your washer and dryer hookup, essentially your washer. Obviously, you're not going to want to hook it up to your hot water. You'd probably damage it if it comes out too hot, but you're going to hook it up to your cold water. In that, you can see I think this is a 3/4 inch just straight adapter here, and then it comes off to a Y. So it allows me to still run the washer from this one here, and obviously this one always stays open. I never close it. And then this bad boy here, I'm able to open it or close it depending on when I'm making or not making water. Now, for you guys wondering, so how are you going to make water and prevent it from overflowing and falling onto the ground? Well, we have a float switch, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. So the float switch automatically shuts off this whole system and prevents any water leaking down into the ground. Now, for you guys that aren't going to hook it up to a washer and dryer hookup, there are a few other adapters to hook it up. This one here, you can see, this would be run under a sink, whether a bathroom, maybe not a kitchen, depending on the size hose, but this here would be to a sink. Then you can see the water comes in from here, which instead of grabbing it from here, you'd be grabbing it from this bad boy here. And this also has let me try and turn it on video. It has a valve here. You open and close it to start producing water. The next one, this adapter would go onto your sink. So again, water would come out through here. When you want to make RODI water, just switch the lever over, and then it diverts all the water to the RODI system. This one here, I'm not sure what this is used for. Actually, you know what? I do know what this is used for. This is actually just a plastic version of this. I just realized that. So yeah, I honestly didn't even know that. But anyways, this one's here a little bit nicer because it has a valve here. Here you'd have to put a valve in line to either shut it or turn it off. And then this adapter here, also, if you want to put it to like a hose, I think it's a 3/4 inch, you can do it here, and obviously that's what's being used here. So that covers that. Let's go and show you guys exactly what we're using to get it mounted in this very compact space. So this is the storage can we're going to be using. As you can see, it's a trash can. Oh, this is actually pretty fun. Anyways, this is a Rubbermaid storage can. It's 12.5 gallons. It's anywhere from 12.5 to 13 because the inside, I don't know if you can see it, but it says 13. Either way, this is very good. This one here I got at Home Depot. You can probably find them at Walmart as well. Now, a lot of people on my Instagram were wondering, if you get a lot of flex in it when it fills up. I've filled this one up a few times. I really haven't had anything to complain about. Now, what I do recommend, if you are going to get something, if not this one, get it with a lid. Now, what the lid's going to do is the lid is going to prevent it to flex, you know, as much as you wouldn't want it to be flexing. So the lid is going to hold it together. Now, if you're still having issues with it flexing, one thing I would recommend is to reinforce it with duct tape. So have someone help you, have someone close it. Maybe that's a little bit exaggerated, but have someone hold it, and then you would just duct tape it really tight. So when you release it, there's constant pressure on it, not gonna let it expand. But generally speaking, guys, if you guys wanna check this model out, you can probably find it on Amazon. I think it's model 2692. You know, I don't know if you can see that. You can just run the barcode. But anyways, this is what I'm running, loving it. Another thing you are gonna need, you're gonna need a bulkhead here. All this was purchased at Home Depot. You're gonna need a 3/4 inch valve here with a 3/4 inch 90, followed by a 3/4 inch little nipple here. And this is just to attach the hose. Obviously you can do this longer or shorter, but yeah, all this was purchased at Home Depot. And then this here is where it's gonna be drained from. So if you pay attention, there's a rubber seal here that once you tighten this, it pretty much makes a permanent seal. If you are using this, guys, pay attention, this is reverse threads. So to loosen is to tighten, and to tighten is to loosen. Don't ask me how I figured that out the first time. But anyways, this is gonna be the float valve. So this float valve, when the water line reaches the top here, this float line is gonna go here. So when the water line reaches on the very top, the float line here lifts up and closes off the water running through here, which then stops the RODI system from running, and more importantly, stops this from overflowing, right? It's not gonna be a good day. Some other thing you may or may not need is RO line. Generally speaking, if you buy the BRS one I have, it comes with tons of leftover, so you won't need to buy any RO line. If you're using another one, you will have to buy it, and that's that. I'm using some 90 adapters, RO adapters. Again, you don't need this, it's just for a cleaner setup. Last thing you're gonna need is a step drill bit. Now these you can find at Home Depot. If you have a Harbor Freight close to you, you're gonna have better luck getting them a lot cheaper there. You're not gonna use this much, so you don't need a crazy good quality tool. And what this is for is to drill out the bottom hole on the bottom, you can see there, and to drill out right here for the float switch. Now, not the float switch, but the float valve. I went ahead and did all this already off camera with a drill, obviously. I didn't think you guys needed to see me drilling stuff, so rolling them. What I'm gonna do now is assemble them both on, both of these bad boys, so you can see how it looks, and then we'll go and we'll hook it up onto our RODI system. All right, so we got the float valve. I keep wanting to call it a float switch. We got the float, shoot, I don't even know what to call it anymore. We got the float valve installed here. You can see here how it functions pretty much. When the water level rises, it's gonna lift up, close the input here, which is thus gonna shut off the RODI system. And that's that. And then on the very bottom, you can see there our drain. If you are using this drain, guys, unlike other bulkhead seals out there, the rubber on this one is supposed to be on the outside. I verified that, I quadruple checked it. Typically it's on the inside, so it's very rare to see them like this. But on this specific design, it's actually on the outside. And remember, the threads are opposite, so to tighten, you loosen, and to loosen, you tighten. That's kind of confusing. So all there is to do now is to throw on the lid, and then we're going to show you guys exactly how to set this up. So we're here with the RODI system. We already got it all hooked up. All there really was to do is to mount the cam itself right here. As you can see, and look guys, it's very compact. You can compare it right next to, this is our standard 5-gallon jug. You see it's just a hair wider. Obviously it's taller, but it's not taking very much space. So you guys can probably install this in a lot of areas in your home, probably a lot easier and more feasible than a 50-gallon brew can. Now, you guys may be asking, why don't you need a pump to siphon out the water? Well, we're using gravity to siphon out the water. Since it's mounted so high and we're draining so low, all I gotta do is open the valve and it's gonna start. For you guys that do have this mounted in a lower area, you're gonna need to buy a pump. Now, there's some on Amazon for like 2,000 gallons, for 2,000 gallons an hour, I think, or gallons a minute. I forget what they are, but anyways, there's some really inexpensive ones on Amazon. If you are going to go a pump route, an electric pump route, you obviously don't need this here. You just drain it and you're going to be good to go. But if you're mounting it high like I am, you can get away with just using gravity to open and drain the water. So as far as hooking it up, all I did was bring the RO line from there, brought it to here, and we're ready to fire this bad boy up. Now I want to give you guys a quick tip, especially you guys that go through DI resin very, very fast. I'm going to share something with you guys that you probably either may know, may not know, and hopefully this will help you make your DI resin last a lot longer. Now, this technique I'm about to show you, if you're not doing it and you start doing it, you'll make your DI resin last a lot longer. Don't ask how I know. I've actually didn't used to do this, and I used to go through my DI resin a lot sooner. So one of the first things you want to do is open up this valve here, which is just going to flush water through this bad boy here, and just leave that open. And what it's going to do is going to allow all the water to flush through before running through the system, and I'm going to show you why. So let's start her up. Now, if we weren't to do this, let me show you what would have happened. Look at the TDS. Well, it's going to start creeping up. So what would have happened if I wouldn't have flushed it out like this, like I'm doing now, is all of the high TDS would have run through the DI resin, thus depleting it a lot sooner. So what we're doing here, we're allowing the water to pretty much just pass right through to drain all out. And before I engage the RODI system, I'm not going to engage it till this number falls a lot lower. You can see we're 63, 62. So I won't probably engage it until it reaches about the low 20s. And then it'll start running the water through here. And again, all that does is allow your DI resin to last a lot longer. So you don't deplete it as quick. So we're going to wait for it to drain here. I'll show you guys as soon as it stops, and then we'll engage it and we'll end the video there. So after about 3-4 minutes of running the water, or in essence flushing it out, you can see we're back down to 18, 17. Here's why I feel very comfortable now starting it up, allowing the system to run, because the TDS is so low. I wouldn't be worried about it, damaging the DI resin prematurely. Now this TDS, guys, keep in mind, it's only the in. The out should and always will read 0. If it doesn't read 0 on your system, you probably need to change your DI resin. So again, we're only looking at the input. So here at 13, I feel very comfortable now running water through the system. You can see the pressure just went up. And now it's actually running the water through the whole system and ultimately making it out. I can actually hear it dripping. I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but it's already starting to fill this bad boy up. You can see the longer it runs, the lower it's going to run, but obviously it's never going to be 0 TDS on the input unless you live in a place where it really truly is 0 TDS. Here where I live, it'll come as low as about 5 to 3. You see it coming down. And again, the output should always be 0. If it's not, it's your TDS. So we're going to end the video here. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. I really hope I gave you guys an option to those big old bulky brute cans that we probably can't imagine ourselves having, or the wife would kill you if you had it. This is a lot easier, a lot more compact. Honestly, you could even hide it behind a washer, or even on the side if you really wanted to. So that's going to be it. Any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comment box below. We're going to end this video here. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time.